Few love stories in rock history have been as complicated, passionate, and heartbreaking as the one involving Pattie Boyd, George Harrison, and Eric Clapton. For decades, the woman who inspired some of the most iconic love songs in music, from Harrison's Something to Clapton's Layla and Wonderful, tonight, has remained largely silent about the pain and chaos that came with being at the center of rock's most famous love triangle. But now, Pattie Boyd has finally broken her silence, opening up about her marriages to both men and the emotional toll those relationships took on her. Pattie Boyd, once a young model in swinging 1960s London, met George Harrison on the set of the Beatles film A Hard Day's Night in 1964. Their chemistry was instant, and they soon fell deeply in love. She became his muse, his spiritual companion, and one of the few people who saw beyond his fame. George wrote Something, one of the Beatles' most beautiful ballads, for Pattie, immortalizing their love in music. But fame and pressure began to take their toll. As George became more deeply involved in spirituality and meditation, Pattie felt increasingly isolated in their marriage. Their once romantic union slowly began to unravel. Enter Eric Clapton, one of George's closest friends and one of the greatest guitarists of all time. Eric had secretly fallen in love with Pattie, and his obsession became the fuel for one of rock's most passionate songs, Layla. Torn between loyalty and love, Pattie resisted at first, but as her marriage to George continued to deteriorate, she eventually gave in to her feelings for Eric. In 1974, she divorced Harrison and later married Clapton, creating headlines around the world. In her newly revealed reflections, Pattie Boyd doesn't shy away from the pain that came with those choices. She describes both relationships as beautiful but deeply flawed, filled with love, jealousy, and emotional turmoil. With George, she says, she felt neglected at times, as his spiritual pursuits and fame pulled him further away. With Eric, the passion was undeniable, but often destructive. Clapton's struggles with addiction and infidelity made their marriage turbulent and heartbreaking. "I love them both," Pattie admitted in an emotional interview, "but in different ways, and both relationships broke my heart." Pattie also revealed that fame made it almost impossible to live a normal life. Everywhere she went, she was followed by cameras and fans who idolized her as the woman behind rock's greatest love songs. Yet behind the glamour was a woman quietly suffering, dealing with loneliness, betrayal, and the weight of two men's artistic obsessions with her. "It was strange to be loved so publicly but feel so unseen privately," she said. "People heard the songs, but they didn't know the pain behind them." After years of silence, Pattie says she has finally made peace with her past. She harbors no resentment toward George or Eric. In fact, she speaks with affection about both, calling Harrison gentle and spiritual, and Clapton passionate and tortured. George's passing in 2001 deeply affected her, and she has described visiting him before his death as a moment of healing and forgiveness. "He looked at me with such kindness," she recalled. "We had both moved on, but there was still love there." Today, Pattie Boyd lives a quieter life, far from the chaos of the rock and roll world she once inhabited. She's become an acclaimed photographer and author, channeling her life experiences into art. Her story, though full of heartbreak, is also one of resilience and self-discovery. "For so long," she says, "I was someone's muse. Now, I am my own." Her honesty has resonated deeply with fans who grew up idolizing George Harrison and Eric Clapton. By speaking her truth, Pattie Boyd has reminded the world that behind every great song is a human story, raw, emotional, and real. Her journey from muse to independent woman is a testament to surviving love, loss, and fame with grace and courage.